What is the best loophole you ever found? Story number 1. Some new magazine was asking college students to send out subscription forms by email to all their friends. For every 25 emails you sent, you would get a $10 Amazon gift card. Turns out they didn't need to be real emails. I made about $100 before they told me to stop. Story 2. I hate having a great answer too late. I coach a high school team. We recently bought airfare with Spirit Airlines to take 9 students to a competition. 2 of the students canceled about a month out from the trip, and we had to replace them with 2 different students. Spirit Airlines policy, no name changes. Can't even pay a fee to change the name. The tickets are basically lost. You have to buy new tickets. Spirit's customer service is overseas, and they plainly don't care at all about customer service, because they don't actually work for Spirit, etc., etc. Except that Spirit Airline does allow passengers to correct misspellings, and these folks don't really recognize nonsense names. So over 4 calls, I changed the names of the canceled students to the names of the new students, 2 letters at a time. No one at Spirit customer service made a note, because who would care? And no one ever notices that the correct names during the intermediate steps were nonsense. Also, fuck Spirit. Story 3. In 1st grade, our school had Catch a Kid cards. Every time you did something good, you'd get one, and whoever had the most at the end of the year won a prize. My teacher, to promote animal awareness or some shit, gave us 1 card for each newspaper story we brought in that had something to do with animals. So instead of being a good kid doing good deeds, I just combed through the newspaper each day and hoarded cards through animal stories. Eventually she was like, "Alright, for fuck's sake, you're only getting half of a card for each story." And I was like, "Miss Fives, I do not give a fuck." I continued bringing in the stories. I destroyed all the competition and won the grand prize of a $50 Toys R Us gift card, which when converted from 6-year-old dollars into US dollars is about $24,500. That conversion sounds about right. Story 4. Best Buy had double trade-in value on games several times. Craigslist people want cash instead of store credit, but used games for $20 and get $25 in trade, which doubled to $50 store credit. I ended up with about $1,200 in store credit, which cost me maybe $400. Story 5. My old bank used to give me a $2 reimbursement anytime I used another bank's ATM to cover the fee. There was a local bank ATM that charged $1.50 a fee, so I would make $0.50 3 times a month. Story 6. I earned double points on my credit card through gas and grocery purchases, so when I plan to buy something, say at Lowe's or go out to eat, I go to the grocery store and buy a gift card. Double points for the gift card and at least double fuel points through the grocery store. Story 7. There was a McDonald's near my college, and in it was an ATM. If you used the ATM and got a receipt, it would come with a coupon for a buy one, get one free large sandwich. I'd swipe my card, hit cancel, and a receipt would print out showing the cancellation. I would then find someone in line buying a large sandwich and hand it over to them. Free sandwiches for about 8 months until it finally went away. I don't eat McDonald's anymore. This is the most college student loophole in the thread. Story 8. My high school advanced algebra teacher had a system where you could retake an exam if you failed. Part of this was if you were to tutor someone who failed and then subsequently passed because of your help, you'd get 1/2 of their improvement added to your score. So the smartest girl in the class and I took turns getting zeros on exams and then tutoring each other. Story 9. When I was in elementary school, I took part in a paper airplane contest, in which whoever's paper airplane flew the farthest won. We had unlimited pieces of paper at our disposal, and about 10 minutes to craft our planes. I noticed some other kids had airplanes that flew quite a bit farther than mine, but still not very far. So basically I crunched all my failed planes into a dense paper ball and just chucked it. It went almost 4 times as far as my nearest competitor. Story 10. Went to Walmart to buy a shotgun, which required proof of residency, and my driver's license had a P.O. box, so they wouldn't accept it. I asked what documents could be used as proof of residency. Turns out fishing license counts. Does Walmart sell fishing license at the same sporting goods desk? Yes, they do. What document is needed to get a fishing license? A driver's license. The Walmart sporting goods associate filled out the paperwork for my fishing license, for which I provided my physical address and then handed it over to me. I handed it back and said, "I would like to purchase that shotgun." The look on their face was priceless, but a few minutes later, I walked out with it. Story 11. Back in middle school and high school, I was busted at home for looking at porn. My parents had the MSN browser and internet service at the time. Their response was to ground me and change the password to get on the MSN account. This is dying the years of dial-up. I discovered that I could type in any random digits into the password space to allow MSN to start the dial-up process and then minimize the window. The computer would connect to the internet but not the MSN account. I would then open Internet Explorer and browse to my heart and hand's content, erase the internet history, and then they were none the wiser. Story 12. I guess this is kind of a loophole. One of my proudest moments nonetheless. In the final semester of my senior year in high school, I decided to take a class called Physics 2. I liked the first physics class I took. I thought that this would be a fun class to go out on. Wrong. It was basically AP Physics. I was way over my head. It's not that I wasn't trying, it's that physics just wasn't a subject I could easily understand. I failed a lot of tests, and at the end of the semester, I had a D- going into the final. I'm freaking out at this point, thinking that my college acceptance is going to be pulled. Our final project is about buoyancy. The task is to build a boat that could support you and your partner out of nothing but cardboard, glue, and 20 feet of duct tape. If you could paddle to the end of a pool and back with you and your partner in the boat, you get an A on the aspect of the project. Great. And my teacher made the mistake of offering an extra incentive. For every length of the pool you could go beyond it without sinking, you'd get 40 extra credit points. Extra credit was my only hope. We went out and found the sturdiest cardboard we could find. We carefully folded, glued, and cut the cardboard into a canoe-type boat. It looked great. The day finally came, the entire class brought their boats out, and we started. Most people made it to the end of the pool before their boats started to disintegrate. One group made it back and forth 13 times before they sank. Whoa. We were the very last team. We go in and start paddling. We make it to the paddle back. Then out and back again, and again, and again. We crossed the pool 60 times before our teacher made us stop. We did not sink. We both earned 2,400 extra credit points. I went from a D- to an A on the very last final I ever had in high school. True story, in one of my greatest days. I would have made the cardboard a couple of inches shorter than the length of the pool, and just shuffled it back and forth a couple of times for all the bonus points. Story 13. Those self-serve yogurt places have been popping up all over my area for the last 2 to 3 years. One opened up shop in a crappy strip mall that's a pain to get in and out of. To get people in, they put stacks of coupons out in the offices near them for a free small yogurt. They neglected to put an expiration date on any of them. I gathered all of them that were at my office and even found some in a handful of places near the yogurt place. I've been eating free yogurt for the last 20 months. Story 14. When I first got an iPhone, I bought an insurance package that I thought covered just about anything. After about a month of having my new iPhone, I got a really bad scratch in the screen. The scratch haunted me and I would constantly imagine a nice fresh screen again, so I went to the insurance company and asked them to replace it. The insurance rep told me my coverage is limited to more severe damage like cracks and water damage, not scratches. So naturally, I went out into the parking lot and tanked my phone against the pavement, completely obliterating the screen. I walked back into the same insurance rep, acting like I wasn't just there 5 minutes ago, and explained that my phone was severely damaged and I wanted a replacement. In 4 days, I had a nice smooth iPhone free of charge. This time with a screen protector. Story 15. Ooh, I have a good one. I had saved up a crap load of coins and needed to get them counted. I went to a bank that I knew had a coin counter, mine didn't, and asked the staff if I could use it if I belonged to another bank. She said, sure, and so I did. It was about $800+ when all counted. I took my slip to the counter and she asked if I had an account with them. I explained that I didn't, but the lady at the front said I could use it. She comes over, bitch, and says she didn't realize I didn't have an account here. What the fuck? And I would need to pay 20% of my coins total. I was fuming for about 5 seconds. Then I turned to the teller and said, I'd like to open an account, please. She was pissed, but sent me to the other section to open an account. I deposited the money into my account, waited until I got my card, withdrew it, and went in and closed the account. It was a lengthy workaround, but it worked. Story 16. I didn't find this loophole, but my friend did. A few years back, an online store had this promotion where whoever spent the most money over a month would get free round-trip airplane tickets to anywhere in the world. My friend, who's a fucking genius, found that one thing you could buy on the site was a gift certificate. So he bought a $25 gift certificate and kept spending it on another $25 gift certificate. So he ended up spending $25 on round-trip tickets to Australia. Story 17. I used to work at Papa John's to pay my way through college. There was a contest we had where if you got someone to upsize their pizza from like a medium to a large for an extra $2, you got points toward movie tickets. A large was simply $2 extra normally anyways. For anyone that ordered a large, I simply put in a medium and upsized it. I won every fucking week. My coworkers didn't notice this obvious loophole and it didn't cost the customer extra, so I didn't have a problem with this morally gray area. Free movie tickets every week were huge in college. Story 18. We used to play server bingo at an old chain restaurant I worked for. It was mid-November and we had a special brownie dessert. It was literally a regular brownie dessert except instead of caramel drizzle there was a raspberry drizzle and some crushed candy cane sprinkles. The rest was the same. 2 brownies, ice cream, whip. The last square of server bingo that nobody could get was to sell 20 of these desserts. They were also the same price as the regular brownie. We were also responsible for decorating our own desserts. The kitchen would put up the brownies and the ice cream, so I would just ring in a Christmas brownie and do it up as a normal one, if the customer didn't actually want the Christmas one. I once served bingo and won a brand new Xbox 360 Slim. This was about 8 years ago. It was a wicked prize. Story 19. My brother got free parking for pretty much his entire time at university. It was that golden period when the pay parking kiosks were able to accept credit cards, but before they were actually connected. They'd read a card and check it against a locally stored list of banned numbers, and once a month the meter maid would download the transactions, process them, and update the blacklist. My brother found that they'd accept those prepaid gift cards if they were backed by Visa or MasterCard, but couldn't check the available balance, so he'd buy one, use the balance up on whatever, then use the card for parking until the end of the month when it'd get processed, found to not have funds, and banned. Rinse and repeat. The guy saved probably $2,500 over his degree. Edit. Y'all can stop telling me this is illegal. I don't give a flying fuck. You're far from the first to say so. Story 20. When I was in high school, I applied for a summer job with the county. As part of the unbiased application process, each applicant was asked to take an intelligence test. The test consisted of about 80 questions. Each question was 4 or 5-line drawings, and you had to put an X in the box next to the one that didn't belong. Pretty easy. I happened to notice, though, that the test paper was in 2 parts, which are 2 sheets of paper that are attached together back to back with a sheet of carbon paper in between. I could peel the sheets apart and look inside. The second sheet just had a bunch of boxes printed on it, and I could see from the first few questions that I'd answered that the X's I'd marked ended up in the printed boxes on the second sheet thanks to the carbon paper. So I did all the questions with obvious answers, and if I wasn't sure, I just peeled the paper apart, noted where the box was printed on the second sheet, and made sure I got it right. Of course, I got 100%. I figure that if you can cheat on an intelligence test, you're pretty smart. Story 21. My university was trying to encourage people to walk, so if we download a specific health tracker that's connected to our account, it would convert steps into points. The points would get you stuff like free coffee, mugs, discounts for stuff, and the most expensive prize, a university hoodie which costs about £30. Now the health tracking app is pretty basic. It won't let you log your steps manually, but it does let you connect with other health apps. I found a health app that would let me add in the steps, and I logged in an equivalent of 50 kilometers a day in a few days of logging manually. I would get myself a hoodie or two and I didn't get caught. However, I told my friend about it, and he really perfected the method of getting more steps a day, because apparently, there was a hidden physical limit to how far a person can walk in a day. But he managed to trick it by setting his height to be 1 centimeter, and because the shorter you are, the more steps you need to take to cover the same distance. In the end, he claimed about 10 plus hoodies, and he would just get them for anyone who asks. The uni found it suspicious, so he received an email telling him that the activity had to stop unless he could provide evidence that he walked that much. Another friend had a different method. You get points just by being friends with them on the university health website. He also found that he could access a list of everyone who had an account on that website. So he made a Python script that would automatically send a request to everyone, earning him points. Story 22. Our local Tesco accidentally had 2 offers for Terry's chocolate orange at once. So if you bought 4, or a multiple of 4, they gave you 50p. Tried not to abuse it since if they noticed, they'd change it. But bought 4 chocolate oranges with other stuff through the self-checkout every day for almost 2 weeks before they corrected it. I planned to save them for Christmas presents, but Christmas was 4 months away, and you know how delicious Terry's chocolate oranges are. Edit. To all non-Brits out there, since apparently they're not sold elsewhere, they're fucking delicious. If you ever come to England, do yourself a favor and buy one. Or find a foreign confectionery shop and hope they sell them there. Story 23. I'm not sure if they do this anymore, but many years ago, while an employee at Home Goods, the store had this promotion where employees could get these scratch-off cards that reduced the cost of an item by $1, $5, $20 each time they found a price sticker on the floor. Each card had 3 scratch-off areas, and the catch was that you could only scratch off 1. However, if you used a lamp, you could see which scratch-off area was the 1, 5, or 30, meaning that you could very easily rack up a $20 gift card for every sticker you found on the floor. The idea was that if employees collected these fallen stickers, regular nefarious shoppers couldn't stick them on something of far greater value and check out at that price. There were no rules on how many an employee could have, or combine, because most folks who worked at that store were middle-aged women who really couldn't give a fuck, and most of the stuff Home Goods sells is garbage. But then there was me, a starving, broke college kid who got paid shit, but who worked in the back room and loading trucks, and who was also occasionally tasked with stocking shelves. In short, I was the only person who seemed to give a shit about this promotion, and my bosses, who wanted to show their higher-ups that they were putting the corporate programs into effect, We're happy to oblige each sticker represented with a scratch-off ticket of my own. Now Home Goods, while normally a purveyor of fine garbage, also occasionally has very nice, very high-end housewares in the cheap. Comparatively, these items like cookware, linens, comforters, etc. are more often than not usually much more expensive than the rest of the store stock and take a while to sell. For me, the guy who unloaded the trucks, this meant that when I saw something absurdly nice, I could put it very high up into a loading bay and just let it sit for a while because the senior citizens I work with would never go up to get it. At the end of a 4-month summer, I'd amassed about 1,100 in these little gift cards, and with them I bought a full set of all-clad copper core cookware. A new piece came in once a month. A queen-size down comforter, duvet cover, and sheets. Pillows, nice flatware, plates and glasses, a dozen useful kitchen tools. To this day, 10 years later, I still have all the all-clad, which alone retails for $800 in some of the kitchen tools. All of it for free. Story 24. Free internet access during the early days of the internet. If you signed up for that free month, call to cancel, they would give you a free month or two. Cancel at the end of that period, then sign back up with a different checking or savings account. In the same process, by that time the original account would fall off their list of known accounts, so you could go back to that one. I got 2 years of free internet that way and got my mom perma-banned from AOL. Story 25. I once got an automated speeding ticket, spent several hours looking at statutes and laws trying to find a way around them. Looked up the city ordinance referencing temporary automated speeding traps, which stated that the machine had to be within 100 yards of a school zone or a crosswalk. This was my chance. Went to court, said I was pleading not guilty. They show a video of me clearing going 35 and a 25 several times. Prosecutor asked if I was disputing that I was speeding. No. Prosecutor asked if I was disputing that I was the person driving. No. The prosecutor asks what I'm disputing. The placement of the speeding trap was in violation of the ordinance that enables its use. The judge immediately asks me to step closer to the bench with the prosecutor. The room is full of people with these speeding tickets. The prosecutor tries to claim that what I printed from the city website isn't the city ordinance. Judge dismisses the ticket. Walked out of the courtroom like a f***ing boss. Story 26. I don't know if this is a real loophole, but it was a shady as f*** trick I learned in high school and never got caught doing. I was one of the advanced students in my tiny high school. 3 other advanced classmates and I took a math class over the summer to get ahead. Since the school was small, this caused a conflict in our schedules, as we weren't in the same math class as the rest of our grade. We took a homeschooling course for history during a study hall period instead with a teacher supervising us. Since we were the 4 smartest kids in our grade, the administration thought we were incapable of fraud. We were left alone for the whole period. We would chat and goof off or catch up on homework for an hour, then run down to the dean's office to grade our tests. He'd hand us the teacher's edition. We'd write down the correct answers and turn in our packet. We did this for 3 years. No one suspected since we made A's legitimately in our other classes. Moral of the story, if you make good grades on your own, teachers won't suspect you of falsifying the ones you cheated for. Story 27. Back when I was much younger, maybe around 8 to 9, my stepfather, a notorious spicy food connoisseur, dared me to eat a chili pepper. After I refused, he told me that if I could eat the whole thing, he would buy me an Xbox. He hadn't said anything about chewing, so I cut the pepper into 3 and swallowed them whole with some milk. I always try to keep his word. He bought me an Xbox the following day. Edit. My stepdad doesn't play video games and has admitted that he wouldn't think I'd do it, which is why he made the deal in the first place. Re-edit. My poop was fine. Thanks for all of your concern. I think he was probably going to buy the Xbox for you either way and just wanted to see if you'd do it.